Hey everybody, it's Pastor Paul, and this is your daily dose of hope. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, there's something that I have said a bunch of times. Maybe you've said it, maybe you've heard other people say it. We probably all say it. Like maybe when you were younger, you said something like, oh, I will never, whatever it is, right? I will never, whatever it is. And then we do this thing as we get older or as we move further away from that moment of I will never. And we start to say things like, well, now I'm more mature so that now that I'm more mature, I think differently about. And my question is, like, is it really maturity or is it just like an inner growing of compromise? Or maybe what happens is we end up losing our right thinking on things because we allow other influences in. Let me read a passage for you. It's not a passage about Jesus, but I'm coming to the passage about Jesus in a second. It says, do not be misled. Bad company corrupts good character. Come back to your senses as you ought and stop sinning, for there are some who are ignorant of God. I say this to your shame. What the Apostle Paul is saying is that sometimes we enter into a space, what I would call spiritual insanity, where we stop thinking correctly about things. We stop thinking rightly about things. We allow the influences of a friend or others to come in and corrupt our character, and we start compromising on the things that we once said that were really probably the right thinking kinds of things. I will never. And then we enter into now I'm doing, and we kind of hold hard on it. We say, I'm going to stay on this because I'm more mature now, or I've learned that. When you come back to your senses, it's like God says, gives it as a gift. All of a sudden, He turns on this light spiritually for us. He gives us an enlightenment, and we realize, oh, that's really what I want to be thinking about. Or that's how I want to be thinking. Or if let me bring you to another passage, Luke chapter 15. It's the passage, a common passage that a lot of us know. It's about the prodigal son, the lost son. It says, Jesus continued, there was a man who had 2 sons. The younger one said to his father, Father, give me my share of my estate. So he divided his property between them. Not long after that, the younger son got together all he had, set off for a distant country, and there squandered his wealth in wild living. After he had spent everything, there was a severe famine in that whole country, and he began to be in need. So he went and hired himself out to a citizen of that country who sent him to the fields to feed pigs. He longed to fill his stomach with the pods that the pigs were eating, but no one gave him anything. When he came back to his senses, he said, how many of my father's hired men have food to spare? And here I am starving to death. I will set out and go back to my father and say to him. And then he describes what he'll say. So when he came back to his senses, it's like this moment where all of a sudden right thinking entered his mind again. That's what I want to encourage us to think about today. Is where have you compromised your sense? Or where have you stepped out of right thinking? And the Father would say to you, when you come back to your senses, stop doing this thing. Here's the question. Are you open to the adjustment of your thinking? Like, would you allow yourself to come back to your senses, to a thing that you used to hold maybe, and you said, I would never, and realize when you think about it now, you think this has moved me away from my Father's heart, and I want to be back. So here's how you can do that. Father, where have I stepped out of right thinking? Or where am I experiencing spiritual insanity about a thing or something I've been practicing or doing? And God, where would you want me to come back to your heart? It's a beautiful gift, the privilege to come back home. A beautiful privilege, even in just a spot. Maybe you feel like you've been really good and tight with Jesus, but where would He say you are out of right thinking in this area of your life? Come back to your senses. This is a message of hope, the privilege of coming back to right thinking. Lord bless you. Have a great day. Do a little bit of evaluation of your thinking. Read Luke chapter 15. Lord bless.